Well, ladies and gentlemen, now it is time to progress into a panel discussion. Well, we're looking at the topic block party, blockchain and gaming, innovation, transformation, and tokenization. Talking about what is the point of a blockchain game, what is the role of in-game assets and NFTs in future gaming landscape, how does a blockchain make digital gaming better, and also is gaming a true use case for the future of blockchain? Well, ladies and gentlemen, for this panel discussion, we're joined by our panelists. First up, Tony Pearce, the co-founder, Realty Gaming Studio. We've got Brian Rowe, the Senior Director, Brave Games. We've got Craven, CEO, ARterra Labs. We've got Jesse Hynes, the CLO of Gala Games. And we've got Kevin Soltani, CEO and co-founder, Semper Fortis Esports. Well, with this, I'd now like to humbly welcome all our panelists on the stage and screen. Thank you all for joining us. With this, the stage and screen is all yours.
Welcome everybody again to another session at the World Esports and Gaming Summit 2021, brought to you by our organizer Trescon and my company, Semper Fortis. We're super proud to put this together. It's a big passion of mine to do B2B events. It's something I've been doing for about a decade now, and panels like this is why I like to do it, because it gets me excited, not only my peers in the industry, but experts that I want to learn from more and more, which is why I put these panels together selfishly. And so I'm honored that they were able to flexibly move around their schedules to be here with everybody here today. Just to go down a quick introduction about each, and then we'll start it. We'll just get right into it. We have a topic for today in Block Party, blockchain and gaming, the intersection of innovation, transformation, and tokenization. That was about 6 pure buzzwords, guys. You know, I started out with a bang with just pure buzzwords, but you know, what isn't these days when it comes to gaming and blockchain? Mr. Tony Pearce is joining us from the UK. He's the co-founder of Reality Gaming Studios, where they are exactly that, at the intersection of blockchain tech and all things gaming, as it pertains more specifically to development of the NFT side of the NFT games and all things crypto-based gaming, bringing those to the mass market. Love to hear what you guys are working on. Thanks for being with us, Tony.
Pleasure.
Brian Rowe, who's not here right now, but I'll quickly introduce him. He might jump in. He was just next on our list. He's the senior director from Brave Browser, right on time, Mr. Brian. Right on time, Brian. We were just introducing you from Brave Browser. And I'm sure you've heard of the basic attention token and all things they've done there. And now they're getting into gaming. So we're going to hear about how they plan to do so and what their roadmap is over there at Brave. Thanks for jumping in, Brian. Coming from California, so it's a bit early out there. Mr. Jesse Hynes is the Chief Legal Officer at Gala Games. Very honored to have Gala Games with us as a sponsor for this event, but also for this panel. I think this is one of the most important panels that you guys can be involved in, and as well as have you on the panel from a legal perspective. As it pertains to the NFT gaming side, they've done some fantastic work building out their own ecosystem of games that allows users to essentially play multiple different games in that ecosystem, rewarding and working with a crypto-based system. Thanks for being with us, Jesse. And
thank you, Kevin.
Yep, finally to round it off, Mr. Bridge, coming to us from Austin, Texas. Like I said, we're all over the map here, and he's coming to us from ARterra Labs. He's the CEO of Digital Collectibles Hubs of Esports is what they're branding themselves as. Again, a bunch of keywords here. They're looking to really hone in on the in-game assets of the NFT market, working with esports companies, players, content creators to really work on that side of the NFT market, as opposed to just art or just wearables or something like that. So we're really interested to hear from you as well, Bridge from ARterra. My first question is for yourself, Bridge, and Tony, because you are more in the NFT space. One is gaming development and one is the actual marketplace. So I'll go to Tony first. We have seen the craze in NFTs. Can't deny that. And separate and equally, the massive uptick in crypto gaming. So they're going hand in hand in some games, Alien World, Axie Infinity being the newest, biggest one. You're at the intersection of this, and it's just all getting started. what excites you the most about crypto gaming, NFT, and gaming space as we currently stand?
Wow, this is probably the most exciting business I've been in for years. I mean, my background's games anyway, so I started back in Sega Nintendo 25 years ago, PlayStation 1, mobile gaming, Facebook gaming. I moved into blockchain gaming in 2017. I've kind of been at that curve where they've always been new platforms, and I've always kind of got on at the beginning of a platform to see it start to rocket. And I've never seen a platform, if you call it blockchain gaming, take off so quick. I mean, it's quicker than mobile games ever took off, quicker than social games ever took off. I mean, it really is it's quite amazing. And I think that's what makes it so exciting. And having been dabbling around in 2017 and tokenizing in-game items. In fact, the word NFT didn't even exist when we were doing this. We had a mobile game, an AR mobile game called Reality Clash, which is live now in the app stores. And we created tokenized weapons that you could use in those games. Think of Pokemon Go meets Call of Duty, and those NFTs are sold separately online. And we actually went to Apple and went, "What do you think of this idea?" And they were kind of like, we don't. What's an NFT? You know, how does this work? And of course now they're getting stricter and stricter on trying to work out what they're doing with games with NFTs. And I think we're going to see a big change in how the app stores react to that shortly. But we got under the radar, so we're still live. And anyway, so following that game, we now focus on games that integrate NFTs. They're not native blockchain games like an Axie would be. They're games that are aimed at mass market people that probably don't really understand what MetaMask is, don't really understand the complexities or the walls and barriers of playing a true blockchain game. Now, we're here to make it super easy. And in fact, one of the games that we're working on is a branded game with the BBC called Doctor Who. So it's one of the first licensed games where it's a trading card game like Gods Unchained or Magic the Gathering. Every card is tokenized into an NFT, but they're Doctor Who characters. So it brings in a mass market of fans very quickly that haven't got a clue about blockchain, but we're trying to make it super easy for them to understand what an NFT is and how you trade these cards. And I think that's what's exciting. It's education, right? It's teaching people what it's all about, and it's just fun.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of things pertaining to obviously the in-game assets, which is what makes the NFT market so exciting at the cross section of gaming and blockchain, or the NFT space, is that we're seeing games that require those playing card moments like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon moment of 20 years ago. You named a couple games just now, and then you're looking at the play to earn side that's mixing that world in with this world. And that's extremely exciting because whole economies are changing right in front of our eyes, quite literally in third world countries. And very soon, if they can solve the first world eyeball problem, the attention span of the first world, then I think it'll be the first of many $1 trillion spinoffs that come from gaming. Right there, Gala Games is right at the forefront of it. At the same time, you guys are very quickly moving. There was no second part to that question. It was just you guys are moving quickly, and that play to earn side is very exciting for all things crypto and gaming. You offer an ecosystem of these games. You offer an ecosystem within Gala Games that some of them look like Axie games, some of them look like other type of games, and you have some competition in the space. But what excites you most about the play to earn space as it currently stands, and the gaming ecosystems that you guys are building over there at Gala?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Kevin. First, I just wanted to thank you for having me here. It's very exciting to be able to share this, virtual stage with all these amazing panelists, and being able to kind of be given the opportunity to step out of my traditional role as that boring lawyer in a blockchain gaming company, leave the law behind, and rather share my enthusiasm for blockchain, for gaming, and how I believe Gala will be the company that merges blockchain and gaming in a way that people can really rally behind and actually be excited to play the games themselves. Going to your question and kind of going off of what Tony was going on, is this is extremely exciting. It's an extremely exciting world. And what excites me the most about it is seeing the utility of blockchain. I am a big blockchain fan. I've been involved in it for a while, but Gala Games, is more interested in the gaming aspect. Taking the blockchain, taking the cryptocurrency, and putting it into a game that making and publishing games that the world, that the individual players actually want to play. And that's what I'm the most excited about is, taking that NFT, which we know are traditionally used for art and other things, and actually giving it an underlying purpose. For example, whether it's used in a play to earn model, where by placing it and playing with that, you can earn in some way, shape, or form, or whether it's just the basic, simple concept of knowing that you can play a game, you can dedicate hours and hours into playing a game, and you can find in-game items, and you can own, those in-game items, those blockchain assets, and do with them as you please. In most traditional games, you have, let's say you find a gun in a random game, you own it, but you can't really do much with it. Now people are selling their accounts, and usually and often that's against the, licensing agreement to do that, but they're doing it anyway. But in this case, you have the utility of being able to take that asset and then selling it to somebody else who maybe doesn't want to put in the hundreds of hours that you've put in, but wants that top asset. And that is the most exciting thing to me, and watching how we can make an economy, in a sense, where people in third world countries can actually play this game and take a step up in the level of living, their comfort level, and all that.
You mentioned it and you nailed it. I always go back and think, I was a World of Warcraft guy. I don't know if I should say that out loud. And I don't know if I should say the amount of time I put into World of Warcraft, 15, 16 years ago. But yeah, I did. And I always thought, what if the NFTs existed then, where I could keep the sword that I worked so hard to earn, and that didn't ever create a value outside of me selling my character on Craigslist. That's a true story, by the way. And you would do that. But now you have the market of NFTs to strip away the same guy I sold on Craigslist because the guy wanted my sword. The only way to get that sword was to buy the account. I could not switch the sword. I can't sell it. It has no outside value. And Bridge, what you guys are doing is exactly that. You're creating a marketplace, not just for digital collectibles as it pertains to esports and gaming. It's those moments so that Kid Kevin, again, can keep his sword and can have value for those in-game assets, as well as I know you're working with the content creator side, because that's a whole nother version of an NFT, which are moments in time and actual social media. So give us a little bit about what excites you in that side of the marketplace.
For sure. So, what really excites me is just, as Jesse said, huge blockchain fan, and, across the board, and to see kind of DeFi summer 2020 just pierce the veil of mainstream, but not quite. The average mainstream user doesn't care about, decentralized options or derivatives, but to see kind of NFTs pierce that veil and really tokenize culture, really tokenize and bring together a mainstream community to rally around this is so exciting to see just on the onset. But, alluding to what Jesse said, we're focused on the layer above the in-game assets. We're focused on, where you guys are doing a fantastic job to play to earn. We're looking at it from a fan to earn model. We're seeing so many fans, really passionate fans for the esports communities, these content creators. These content creators are becoming bigger than traditional athletes. But in the traditional model, they're not necessarily rewarded, right? It's an analog. They donate, they get an emote in return as a status symbol. And so this kind of has a parallel in what we're seeing in the profile picture NFT realm, where these are becoming status symbols. So what we really want to take is give that ownership, that status symbol created by the content creator, and empower these fans to earn moments. So like Jesse said, the Discord, allowing content creators across the board, especially from the micro influencers, to bake in or to mint 10 exclusive NFTs with an exclusive Discord channel link. And so imagine if Ninja did that when he was just coming up and somebody held on to that. And so they could redeem that. They could be involved, that those first 100 passionate fans be involved with Ninja at the ground floor. But now imagine the monetary, potential upside of that as he's become more famous. So this allows for, fans and creators to engage more deeply. And that's what we're all about, fan engagement elevated, and to empower these different groups within the esports space to really engage fans and provide that upside. So, we're really excited about what the in-game assets are doing, but we want to sit a layer on top and really empower these teams, leagues, content creators with the tools like that Discord link example to really engage them and to create new revenue opportunities through that.
Yeah, look, the NFT market's boom was no good without its community, and a community of artists mainly that drove its user interaction, because they're passionate. They're already at home, not only because of COVID, but naturally artists, work in their own warehouses and their own studios. And it came out in NFTs and these passionate Discord channels. And same with esports and gaming, or professional gaming, gamers and the communities, not only on Twitch and Discord and whatever channels they use, it is their community that drives them. The Ninja moment you described is similar to my example of that sword of World of Warcraft. Had Ninja done that then, what would it be worth now? Would it be more than a Kobe Bryant rookie card? Yeah. Would it be more expensive than the Jordan 1s? What can we draw comparisons to? And that's what's exciting to see what are you guys gonna list on your marketplace? So you ready for this one, guys? I'm gonna bring you in, Brian, but ready for this? So what needs to happen is Tony's just off of the first round, Tony's gonna build us a game, the next game. It's gonna be listed and played or funded, whatever, by Gala Games. It's gonna be put on that network. The players that become successful and start to have the moments for the in-game assets will be listed on ARterra's market network. And we're going to need Brian, because of all people, ironically, the search engine, the software behind a lot of this is necessary, because what you guys have done, Brian, is you're taking blockchain, and it's not just a buzzword, but you guys have baked it quite literally into your software for purposes of security, identity, payment, rewards. The basic attention token it rewards your users for listening to ads, and also is able to share those BAT tokens with other users for different reasons. I think it's quite amazing, and I'd love to learn, what are your plans for gaming? Because I know you get so much influx that when we talked offline, we don't know where to go with all of it. But where's your head and plans at for gaming in that industry?
Yeah, thank you, Kevin, and thank you to the rest of the panelists. You're talking about Bushnell. I feel like Bushnell's law is pretty relevant here, in the sense of make games easy to learn, hard to master, which is, I think, the motto now of Blizzard Entertainment. I saw Nolan was actually on the panel, so for a geek gamer like me to have someone like that, it's just it's a dream come true. So we're doing a lot of things at Brave. It's pretty cool. We're a top 5 global web browser. At the same time, we're top 30 global crypto, and I'm scaling the games and NFT division. So we're really just kind of tactically exploring a lot of that. I mean, we're working heavily with Gala right now. Actually, they're one of our top advertisers. And so we're kind of approaching it, like in the gold rush, right? It was a lot of people got rich with the people selling the pickaxes and the Levi's jeans and the Ghirardelli chocolate. So we're kind of taking that position in the sense of, seeing how it all plays out. I came from Gameloft. I ran West Coast ad sales at Gameloft out of LA for many years. So I came from the traditional side. But again, I'm just so excited to see artists succeeding again, not just the artists who have been pushed out of San Francisco. I'm thinking to myself, now they can actually afford to live in San Francisco again, And for example, like I saw a buddy of mine, he flipped 8 original apes for $1 million in under 4 months. That's unheard of, And another panelist was talking about the same thing of like, I've never seen such a craze, it's a mad rush right now. So there's a lot of things happening. And the coolest thing is, right, so we reward our users with the basic attention token, right? But we think, there's a lot of potential in terms of like in-browser games, hyper casual games, and that's all bleeding into the blockchain. So we're really just trying to wrap our heads around where this is headed. Obviously, there's a lot of players in the game. We're super pumped on like Axie Infinity having so much success. So really following a lot of that and determining the future of the industry.
What's our game going to be called, Kevin?
Yeah, well, I guess that's up to me, right? I'm the more business developer, back end side. A little bit about what we do, just to bring it all. I'm more very interested in the metaverse, building gaming games and bringing esports very individually to the metaverse. So what's our game going to be called? I'll get back to you on that, but it's more of which one will Axie post at that first square, not that third square. It's that first square we want. So look, I'm going to start up with a couple toss-up questions. We're going to shift focus a little bit, and I'm really interested to just know what you guys think about these topics that I'm going to bring up. For 10 plus years now, and 20 with the Sony PlayStation, we've had gaming through tokenization happen, just not in the name of a token or a cryptocurrency. For instance, FIFA, you could go on and buy credits on PlayStation Network, at least in America, for the last 20 years, and play against each other in a match of FIFA, and whoever wins the $5 or the $10. Except for they don't call it, they call it PSN Network credit, right? They call it the credit. And then fast forward, you have V-Bucks in Fortnite, where it's not so much that gambling, I win, you give me this. It's more for purchases of skins and in-game assets, which now, fast forward one more, there's no real game perfecting it. We have a couple in Axie, the ones you guys are doing over at Gala Games. But you're seeing the shift of this tokenized asset from a game be more and more evolved and used. First, it was just for I win, give me $5. Now it's buying skins and avatars. We're going to move those into the metaverse. So those same NFTs that are played in Tony's game or Jesse's game are going to be listed on Bridge's marketplace for, Brian to market and for me to use. Isn't that crazy in that full circle of tokenization? I don't even know if that was a question. It's more rhetorical, but thoughts on tokenization and where we've come till today. And I'll give a plug to Nolan Bushnell because he is the commissioner of this entire event. He told me in 1980 why I started Chuck E. Cheese was that I just wanted these screens to give me quarters. I wanted you to put the quarters in the machine to play Pong, and I just wanted your quarters because I knew that you would want to play Pong more than 5 or 6 quarters worth. Fast forward again, here we are to a digital tokenized life. Any comments about tokenization in gaming?
Well, I actually don't think there's a huge difference. I mean, virtual currencies have been around since the beginning of games. Whether it's a crypto token or a virtual currency, people are used to spending $1 and getting 5 coins, whatever that coin is, V token or V cash. I think the big difference here is those tokens that you buy can't be taken out and sold, and they can't go up and down in value. And secondly, you're playing Fortnite with Vcash and you're buying an avatar skin. You can't take that out of the game and use it somewhere else, and you can't sell it when you're finished with it. You're locked inside that universe. It's a license to use that item, not to own it. And I think these big games companies are probably shitting themselves. I really do, because the last thing Fortnite wants is for their stuff to be in a secondary market. They want you locked into their game. And last year they made $5 billion by locking you into that game. What's going to happen is there's going to be another game come out where you can trade and you can take it out and you can sell it to your friends. And guess where the players are going to go? They're going to go to that game. So the market is going to change the view of what happens with games. The gamers are going to make it happen, which I think is fantastic. It's all going back to the hand of the gamers, not the greedy publisher.
Yeah, I agree with Tony there. I mean, virtual currencies have been around for a while. The biggest change, and this is kind of the big change that happens everywhere, right, is that the friction is what's being removed. The friction of, okay, yeah, maybe I can earn something in game and maybe ultimately I can find a way to sell that. But it's just so many hoops you have to jump through, where, yeah, there have been people in third world countries in the Philippines and things like that who have been able to actually make a living playing these games. But what we're offering now and what Gala is offering now and, what all of us are kind of a part of, and, just as an aside, I feel like we're all going to have to get together, talk, and then we'll Kevin will owe you a referral fee or something for getting us together. But with that said, what the exciting thing is being able to play those games and have that direct ownership, have that verifiable proof on blockchain. That's what excites me, especially, is knowing that when you get an NFT, when you get a token with Gala Games, you can actually see it somewhere other than just inside of a centralized ledger that your game tells you have. But if that game shuts down, it's gone. What's kind of cool to see is, let's say that one of our games ultimately ends up not being successful, and you've worked so hard and gotten all these NFTs, you might still be able to find someone who wants those from you because now they're collector items. Maybe, I don't know, it's speculation, but it's all about, actually being able to get rid of that friction, take that asset, be able to bring it off platform, off game, and maybe there will be some interoperability in that metaverse where you can take an item from our game and bring it to someone else's game.
And I have to just, bring it back to things like what you're doing, Brian, over at Brave, because maybe not the basic attention token, but things like those tokens that are already so widely acceptable, if they can now be interoperable within gaming platforms so that our compatriots here can use cross-platform, I think it's got to be beautiful. So I don't know if you guys are looking at it, but like Jesse said, I'm gonna want that finder's fee soon if we all get at it. But no, in all seriousness, it's definitely something all 5 of us are thinking about, right? It's not something new that it just popped up in our brains. It's something we're all thinking about, is the interoperability of the games and the currency within them. And then again, remember, we have the marketplace that speaks a whole different language, right? And just to nerd out for a second, problems with gas fees and the Ethereum network are causing the Solana network to fastly try to solve that problem, and they might. Any comments there on Bridge, maybe, on what you think? Yeah. Because you see the massive gas fees in the NFT market, and in-game cannot afford that. Let's just be honest. A 13-year-old should not be fussed, or vice versa. A 60-year-old, 70-year-old that wants to buy their grandson their first NFT shouldn't be bothered with gas fees and toughness. But you see Solana coming up very quickly trying to solve that.
You're absolutely right. And just to touch on that, what we focused on in the beginning, it is fan engagement to allow different teams and content creators to address a wide audience. To have NFTs priced at $5, something accessible, so that, it's not that one-of-one art that's going for $1,000 and above, something accessible. So we had to make that conscious decision early on to have a scalable layer 1 at the time. When we started this, layer 2s on Ethereum weren't online or accessible. So what we chose to build on the Near protocol. And so really why we did that, we can mint 10,000 NFTs for less than a penny and within 2 seconds finality. What we're really excited about is the interoperability between Near and Ethereum, so that our users we're going to give them the option to own their private keys, to port those NFTs to OpenSea if they want to. We want to abstract all the complexity, the gas fees. We subsidize that. We want to make that experience as seamless as possible, but on the back end, give them the opportunity to take those to Ethereum and so forth. So, I think that's been one of the biggest hurdles is just the ability to have those lower priced NFTs with the on-chain verification, so that we can get that utility, as Jesse mentioned, to bake in that Discord exclusive to 500 of your biggest fans to actually have that ownership. So we're really excited about this. We're of course monitoring other layer 1s and layer 2s, and we view this as ultimately a multi-chain ecosystem, because we want to sit on top of the in-game assets. We want to be that engagement layer for fans of all the great games you guys are creating.
So just to add, Bridge, we're doing exactly the same with Doctor Who. Again, because it's a mass market brand, probably 95% of the people don't really understand what gas fees are, right? And so we built a side chain off the Ethereum mainnet, and that side chain, you as a user don't need to know that, but there's no gas fees, there's no sustainability and energy issues. It does it off on our side chain. But when you want to take it to OpenSea, if you understand that, you then have 3 chains to choose from. You can choose the Ethereum mainnet, Polygon, or Binance Smart Chain. We educate you on the different gas fees, but it's gradually teaching people This is how I do it. Oh, that's how I get it to an OpenSea. That's how I choose it. You're not being put off by tokenizing a trading card for £10 when you bought it for 50p, right? So that's I think it's really important that you make the UI really easy and simple, and don't charge people until they decide to make that step.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like great minds.
Yeah.
It sounds like great minds think alike, right? Because we're also building our own blockchain. It's Gala Chain, and it's going to make it so that you can have microtransactions on chain. You don't have to deal with those gas fees. As people may know, Gala right now, the token is an ERC20, but we're going to build those bridges to Ethereum, to BSC, to Flare Network when that's around, and allow you to do what you want with your asset. It's yours, but at the very least, at the base level and using the game. And microtransactions and all that, you don't have to deal with the pains, the congestion, the cost of these expensive networks.
The thing is that gas fees it's not like it's a problem. It's the only thing, right? There's not 17 different problems that we have. It's the final part. And usually in young industries, it's that final piece that once it gets solved, the 1 through 9 becomes so much more streamlined. And MetaMask was such a revolutionary product, but again, it didn't have to solve a million different problems, right? Or those 17 I just alluded to. It just needed to do that final step really well. And unfortunately, gas fees have been a problem there. So I always said, and again, another toss-up is, do you agree or disagree that we just heard 4 different, completely different companies going after 4 completely different subsets within blockchain and gaming, or the blockchain, and building out potentially their own, or using other protocols that aren't just Ethereum or now Solana. I've always said we could use 1,000 of these companies, another 200 versions of Bridge, another 200 Jessies, and another 200. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but if we're going to be $100 trillion industry, like some other entertainment industries, like big boy table stuff, then we're going to need adoption, and we're going to need users, and we're going to need influx of all these things. So we're going to need more companies solving more of these problems, not just one Uniswap, not just one MetaMask. And I'm happy to hear that Jesse, Tony, Bridge, and Brian, individually, you're all building them individually or thinking of layers to add. So do you agree that we need more players in the market innovating, not just copy pasting, but innovating? Because look, right now we only do have one solid version of a MetaMask that everybody flows to.
Well, I mean, from 2017 to now, I cannot believe the change and the speed of which this market has got better. It's still for a new person that has no idea. It's still incredibly complicated, and there's lots of walls and barriers, and it's frigid. And what is MetaMask? And oh my God, all this kind of stuff. And why do you need MetaMask? That's one question. You don't. There are things that you can get through. You can pay for NFTs now with credit cards and PayPal. It doesn't have to be crypto, right? But going back only 2 or 3 years ago, it was awful. I'm surprised the handful of people played these games. 2 or 3 years later, it is so much better. And it's games companies that are used to making the UI and the experience seamless that will make this seamless. It will be games because they're used to it. And the more games that come through, the more bigger companies that get involved, the bigger brands that push the audience into blockchain games will just increase it hugely. I mean, look at, compare 2020 to 2021, right? There is still, I was reading, I think it was a nonfungible.com graph. There are still only 15 to 20,000 NFT buyers a week. That's it. There are 2.7 billion people that play mobile games. There are average 15,000 buyers a week. That's tiny. And yet those 15,000 buyers a week in Q1 traded over $1 billion worth of NFTs. Imagine doing 10x of that, which is pretty simple. That's only going up slightly. Suddenly you're into $100 billion business, right? You get it up 100x, which is going to happen in the next 2-3 years, you're getting to that number, which is mass market. And it's a hockey stick happening. And that go back to what I said right at the beginning. I've never seen an industry growing so fast and so exciting as this. And the numbers are proving it, right? And it's just going to get better, quicker and quicker all the time.
I'll if anybody wants to comment on that, please.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I agree.
Quick,
Go ahead, Bridge. You go ahead.
Yeah. I think, we need more competition. We need to really go beyond sort of the maximalism mindset and really embrace sort of a multi-chain world where, we're all in this together. We're all in this industry together. We can't pigeonhole ourselves. Of course, you can be biased towards a single chain, but thinking big picture here, where do we want to get? And is the infighting worth it to, bog down in the industry? So I think, we're really excited to invite different players, invite different marketplaces, because ultimately we're still so young. As Tony mentioned, this exponential growth, it's coming, and, any new entrant is just going to lift boats. So we're really excited. Sorry about that, Jesse, go ahead.
No worries. Yeah, I'm going to jump in really, really quickly. We welcome competition because in our opinion, more competition means more adoption. That means there are more avenues, more people out there telling you about how amazing this space is. And ultimately speaking, the companies that build and make and publish, when it comes to just the playing of the games, make and publish the best games are the companies that are going to win out. But we also look at competition as business opportunities. I mean, at least for our platform, we're not just putting our games on our platform. We're putting other developers' games on our platform, so you can develop, you can release your game out there. And then if you want to try some interesting bridge thing, you can release it on our platform as well, or if you want to develop your own game and you want to make it a blockchain game, but you realize that you don't want all these kind of walled areas of games, you can just bring it to us. And that's kind of what our goal is to bring all games, right? Every single game studio, if they want to come to our platform, that would make us extremely excited. And that's our goal. But even if not, being able to, even if there was another Gala Games out there called something else that did the same thing as us, if there was interoperability between those platforms because of a metaverse or something else, that's just exciting. And, you don't have to just play our games or the games on our platform. You can play both, and they could each, it's just so interesting. My brain is exploding right now in the moment talking about it.
It's also attracting new users, right? And actually, Brian, I love Brave, by the way. I think it's an awesome browser. In fact, we've advertised with you for Doctor Who and another game called Smites. And I think what I loved about the conversion was fantastic. But it's these kind of companies that are bringing in another mass market load of players who are probably using Brave and going, this is quite cool because it's it's new and it's sexy and then there's an ad for a game, and brilliant. It's all of these different
Tony, I think you hit it on the head. Actually, I came from the film business a long time ago. I was at Lionsgate Studio for a long time, and I think you nailed it when you said 90% of the people have no idea what NFT means or blockchain or this, but 90% of those people know who Doctor Who is and they know who the characters are, and I guarantee you they're going to want to start collecting these characters. And I think you guys all hit the nail on the head, is the cross-platform integrations, which is a key component. So we just integrated with Gemini. You can actually buy and trade crypto through your Gemini wallet on the Brave homepage now. So I think this is going to be a key issue, because at least with me, one of the biggest things is, hey, I don't want 10 different wallets floating all around the internet with all my banking information across platform. I can't move the NFT. So again, we're in the infant stages of this industry, and I think that's going to be fixed. But again, how these people play well with each other in the sandbox, literally and figuratively, I think is key moving forward.
It's interesting because I was going to jump in there and say, Jesse, I think I found a way to make more than just my commission off of this panel, but you said the metaverse, and I raised my hand there because that is exactly what we're building, an interoperable, multi-chain, whatever buzzword you want to say, welcome to the neighborhood, no walls up, type of decentral world, because that's exactly what the whole thesis of this panel's, buzzwords is to have it be decentralized is forever to be interoperable. And so that one day gaming is, gaming without borders is a very real thing. Avatars don't have colors. They don't know if you're quadriplegic, if you're poor or rich, or if you have a peso or a pound. And they don't care about your Forex rate, and they don't care about your wars. And when we turn on the avatar and we play one of your games and we list that sword of mine on the marketplace and we market it, and I'm bringing all you in to full circle it. And that's what's beautiful about blockchain and then gaming. So they're not just buzzwords, they're life-changing, they're progressive, and they're bringing us into officially the digital age. If you thought there was any analog left in this world, guess again, because this panel is here to show in 5 different ways that, from Pokemon cards to games such as the Fortnites, the future Fortnites and RPGs, we're here to reward them and we're here to tokenize them. I'd like to end it with a fun one. And I just get anybody's notes, all or anybody, or if none, then I'll take it as that. We recently been seeing NFTs go a little wild, right? We've been seeing tokenization of restaurant tickets, eventing tickets. And I do think that the ticketing space is a fun one to NFT. There's golden ticket moments when you sell 1,000 tickets to a concert. I think Kings of Leon did one where one of the winners got to do a backstage, guitar smashing, all of that. And that was their golden ticket moment. What's in NFTs do you think is a wild one that also makes sense? And I'll start it off. Maybe it's not so wild, but I'm a nerd. So I think when you tokenize real estate, actual physical real estate, that it becomes really interesting because, then a guy in LA can buy a house in China. It's fully tokenized. You don't have to worry about anything. The lawyer in the room will say otherwise, but and I think the secondary market of real estate is something super interesting with $1 trillion market. But anybody have an interesting one or a thought of not gaming an NFT that excites you?
I'll have a go. I think the idea of fan tokens and what that can offer you, if you're a fan of a club, whether it's football or whatever, that you can trade and get real world stuff through it, I think is really interesting. We also have an NFT art department, and we just did an NFT drop for Floyd Mayweather, and we did all of his artwork and stuff. And those NFTs were one of ones, which were really cool. And then they went to signed by Floyd. And then there was, if you get this, there's a meet and greet. And then there was, if you get the real big one, you can go on his private jet from Miami to Las Vegas and go out partying, So it's kind of like fun way of combining, really exclusive art, but also with an element of meeting your celebrity, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. From my angle, just to kind of 2 different streams from advertising. So my first million, Sean Curry from one of the hosts, he auctioned off 5 minutes. Anybody could have access to it. Say, pitch their company. That's kind of what the podcast is geared towards is business. So anybody could have access to that. So really that sponsorship, that advertisement, to democratize that, to allow anybody like myself or anybody on this panel to go access that and target that audience. And just kind of along that same line, just advertising space on a website, breaking that down, partitioning that as we're looking to launch our marketplace, saying, okay, how could we make this more unique? How could we make advertising space on our website actually NFTs that anybody could have access to and market to their target audience? So those are a couple examples that I'm excited about. Yeah.
So Kevin, you got to go first, which means you took the most exciting one, right?
Yeah.
I also took the most dry and boring one. Your guys are actually much more thought. I'm thinking kind of boring.
I come from a semi-real estate type background, and that's very interesting, tokenizing that, because then you can potentially get rid of or change title companies. Why am I paying a title company so much money? To prove the authenticity of my house. But another kind of interesting use case for NFTs would be, proving the authenticity of awards and rare items, whether they be like a special pair of Jordans or whatever, or you have an award show. where with the award comes like an NFT. Something that we're actually considering, which slightly goes off that, is instead of business cards, having business cards that have like QR codes that lead to NFTs, that link to us individually, so that, people who come to our conferences, people who meet us, will be given like an NFT, whether it's an NFT with my face on it, I hope not, but more so with my information, and maybe something that can be used in game, which is really kind of cool.
I'll leave. Oh, Brian, please.
Yeah, real quick, let's hop
Please.
in there. So like I was talking to the apes about, they're throwing like potentially the Ape Fest in the sandbox, right? So they're using the land in the sandbox to throw the Ape Fest, which would be a music fest. And I'm just thinking in my head, once Universal Music Group with their catalog of artists at Interscope, like Dre, Gaga, Eminem, Imagine Dragons, once the big brands get wind of all this, the brand dollars are gonna start pouring in like crazy. So I think you just got to be smart right now, and to see what happened with the crypto punks and, the squiggly lines going for $1 million, just monitoring all on Twitter. It's just a little concerning that it went from about the NFTs and the art and what they're building this incredible community to, hey, this is a get rich quick scheme. And, everybody and their mom is now selling these Picasso worms and crazy, squiggly lines for $1 million. So I think people just got to be smart here, because, it's right with fraud as well, to be totally honest.
I do think, though, moving away from games, big brands, I mean, especially in the fashion industry, like you've got the Gucci's and the, they're all coming out with their own sort of NFTs.
Yeah.
But some of those aren't about making money. They're about brand awareness, right? And I actually do think that, if these big companies, or any big company with a brand, doesn't have an NFT strategy somehow, they won't survive. I think every business is going to have a strategy revolved around NFTs, in the same way that they now have social media strategies. I mean, it should be part of their marketing campaign. I think it's that important.
And I'll end it just because a few of you alluded to it. Brian, you mentioned it, and I talked about ticketing. And also a fellow panelist on another panel, Mr. Metakoven and Tubador, the famous purchasers of the Beeple painting. They own the largest single land in Decentraland and the largest portfolio of all metaverse land. I'm sorry. They're throwing a festival November 4th in New York. It's the single biggest gathering of NFT artists, physical and digital, in one space, called Dreamverse. This is a plug for them. I don't get paid for this, Jesse. But no, I think it's wonderful. I'll be there. I just heard about it today, and I'm going to be there because this is exactly what's up my sleeve. Virtual experiences mixed with the metaverse and a layer of NFTs. All tickets are NFTs. They come as a collectible as soon as you scan it. I won't blow the surprise. Go on the website and check, so you can kind of see the thought process of the next level NFT. One day that's going to be a collectible you're going to find on Bridge's website. So that's the beauty of this whole full circle. So with that, I really appreciate each and every one of you for being flexible with this time. I quite learned a lot. As I told you, I bring these panels together to do so. I selfishly wanted this panel to happen, and I really appreciate each and one of you for coming today. Listeners, friends, do check out each one of their companies. As we said in the beginning, Bridge from ARterra, Tony from Reality Game Studio, Jesse from Gala Games, and Brian from Brave Software, Brave Browser. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and looking forward to the next one.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Well, thank you so much to all our incredible panelists. What a great discussion it was on Block Party, blockchain gaming, innovation, transformation, and tokenization.